In my previous videos, I mentioned I was going to do some custom cosmetic mods here with the Splatrball. This is their 375. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to show you what I plan on doing with the SRB 375 pistol style top loader. I've mentioned before, Splatrball, great quality blasters, but they do make it very difficult to do performance upgrades. So I'm not going to even try to mess around with performance upgrades. A lot of times you have to repurpose gears from a different type of blaster. You may have to 3D print some parts. They're not easy to do. Takes a lot of patience, which I don't have. I don't like opening up the gearboxes and switching gears if I don't absolutely have to, because closing them back up can be difficult. So instead, I wanted to focus on some cool cosmetic mods I planned on showing for the SRB 375. So I've got a lot of things printed here, but first thing I'd show is in the past I've shown the FXT works. These are on Amazon, and these are some aftermarket like stocks you can get, and they just slide right on, because this piece will still, even on this blaster, this piece slides off, right? So you can go ahead, you could get stock like that. So if you don't have access to a 3D printer, I believe you can get it in blue or orange. That'd be the only piece they sell that fits on this. The other pieces are made specifically for the SRB rifle style blasters, and they're rail replacements that wouldn't work here, okay? So instead I needed to find some parts to print. Now I did find a piece on Thingiverse that I could print that was made specifically for the blaster, but it was made to replace this. It was a rail, and then it was a spot for you to pour your gel balls in, because this is where your gel balls load. Well, I thought, well, that's okay, but why replace this nice piece that's obviously going to function best if we can just put a rail up here? So instead, I decided to go ahead with a rail up here, because regardless, you're going to have the loading right here, so you can't really put an optic back here that's optimal anyway, and this is too far back, so really, you might as well just put a rail up here. It's my opinion. So I printed that, did some slicing of it, and basically ended up with a piece like this. So this curved piece will just go right here. It'll line up perfect. You can see it fits perfect with the curve right here. So that'll just mount right on there. And to be honest, up here, I think I'll just glue it. So I'll super glue it. It won't be going anywhere. Don't super glue if you're worried about taking it off. If you need to, you will be able to pop it off, but you'll probably break your printed piece. You probably won't break this, but then you'll have the glue stains there. So that was the first thing I started with, because then, like I said, I like that you can have your little optic and, like a flashlight if you wanted to. I put this on a little riser. I'll probably paint that riser to match. That was just kind of a recent addition. Also printed a piece because I thought, hey, we can go ahead and put the rail out here, and the curve almost fits perfect as well. So I just thought that way, tie the rail all together, have that there. And then on the bottom, I thought, battery goes right here anyway. So if I put a rail right here, it's going to interfere with this. And if it's this far back, it doesn't make sense to have anything that close, I don't think. So instead, I was able to, again, slice this up so that the curve fits nice. It doesn't fit perfect, but it still fits pretty close to, right, the curve that we have there. So this will get mounted here. And actually, if I mount it flush with the front, this can fold like that, which I think is kind of cool. So I'm going to do that there. Mount that. I'll have to use some glue end screws here, but there's plenty of depth to screw into without even worrying about touching anything inside that matters. So we'll have that flush mounted like that, and you have a little flip down front grip, because I think that's a cool option. All right, threaded tip. I need to find out which piece this was. So I print a lot of extra tips just because I do, and I'm trying them for different things. This one fits on here perfect. So with a little bit of glue and pushing this on here, it's not going anywhere. I don't want to push too far, because obviously I want the threads to stay exposed so we can screw something on here. But we could also even do a small extension piece if we needed to. I'm not sure if we will or not. I'll wait and see. But so that way we'll have a threaded tip, and then we can go ahead with tracers, different extended barrels, that type of stuff, fake suppressors. So lots of cool options that we'll be able to do with that. Not sure that these are going to be necessary to add, but if I wanted to, we could put some side rails on here. So I just painted some so that I had some in case. Threaded buffer tube attachment. This just slides on here. right? So it's just going to slide in place. I probably do need to do a little bit of sanding to get it to fit perfect, and that's again pretty normal. And then this was just another tube that I had already, and this was a Picatinny rail attachment. So this would just be another buffer tube attachment that you could go ahead and use a different one. Also, previously from another blaster, before there were any of these available, here is a little stock that I just went ahead and made on my own. So using a piece from a Nerf gun. So that just could fit on there too. I just need to hold that down so I can get that on there all the way, and that should sit on there just fine as well. So several different cool options. I think it'll look pretty nice. It'll have a lot of accessories, or the ability to put a lot of accessories on it. And I mentioned in the previous video, Splatrball was awesome enough to send me 2 extra ones of these, and I'll be giving those away in contests in 2023. And in those contests, I'll probably include some pieces like the threaded tip, like something like this, right? I'll probably include this one exactly. It's the nice orange one that matches. And then probably some like buffer tube attachments with a buffer tube or a stock, because those are nice, really easy ones that you'll be able to do at home without having to modify the blaster. So that way they won't come to you modified. They're going to come to you unadulterated as Splatrball intended. If you want to go ahead and put those pieces on there, you'll be able to. And, again, putting a threaded tip on is just pushing and maybe a little bit of glue. And then any of these different buffer tube stock attachments are not going to affect the blaster at all. So I'll probably include some of those pieces with the giveaway. All right, so that's a quick rundown of what I plan to do. There's a couple of little pieces I see that I needed to hit again with some paint. Even though I try to check them so many times before I decide I'm done, I always end up, when I get into more light, even though I'm in bright light when I'm looking, I find spots like, oh, I got to go hit that with some paint again. So I'm going to do that quick, and then I'll start putting this together. And of course, when it's done, I'll show you how it looks. So comments, questions, post them below. Let me know what you think. And of course, like, subscribe, participate in those giveaways, and look forward to winning this as part of one of the prize packs in early 2023.